Hare Krishna, let's get into more detail about how to live a detached life. So let's start. More details. Uh, the Supreme Personality Godhead expand his personal potency from within himself, and thus the Lord display the network of a cosmic manifestation. Lord display the network of cosmic manifestation and utilize it according to his own purpose, and eventually withdraw it completely within himself. Eventually withdraw it completely within himself. And if out of love, hate, or fears, an embodied soul fix his mind with intelligence and complete concentration upon a particular bodily form, he will certainly attain the form that he is meditating upon me. He is meditating upon me. Each and every person should have to meditate upon Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality God, in order to get a detachment from the life, from the material things. O king, once a wasp forced a wicker insect to enter his hive and kept him trapped there. And in a great fear, the weak insect constantly meditated upon his captor, and without giving up his body, he gradually achieved the same state of existence as a wasp. And one achieved the state of existence according to one's constant concentration. Constant concentration. O king, from all the spiritual master I have acquired a great wisdom, and now please listen as I explain what I have learned from my own body. We can learn many things from our own body, from our material body. We can learn many things. The material body is also my spiritual master. Our material body is also our spiritual master, because it teaches me detachment, how to detach from the body and from our soul. And our soul and body both are different from each other, both are isolated from each other. Our body is not everything. Whatever we are looking, whatever our formation is there, how would we form, that is not real things. Our real thing is our the relation between the soul and super soul, the relation between the body and soul. If the soul is not situated with the body, the soul will never get any kind of regression and progression. And being subject to creation and distraction, it always comes to a painful end. And thus, although using my body to acquire knowledge, I always remember that it will ultimately be consumed by others, and the remaining detachment, and I move about this material world. A man attached to the body accumulated money with a great struggle to expand and protect a position of his wife, children's property, domestic animals and servant and homes, relative, friends, and so on. He does all this for the gratification of his own body. Gratification of his own body. A tree before dying produce the seed of the future tree. Something like a tree before dying produces more and more seed. The dying body manifests the seeds of one's next material body in the form of the one accumulated karma, and thus assuring the continuation of the material existence. The material body sinks down and dies. A man detached to the body whenever the arrival of our time for the detachment from our body. At that time, we are accumulating a money with a great struggle to expand and protect the position of our wives, children, property, domestic animals, servant, homes, relative and friends, and so on. It's something like how the a tree before dying to produce a seed of a future tree, and dying body manifests the seed once the next material body in the form of one's accumulated karma. So this is the same things happen in all of our means with all of us. And actually we can learn many things from nature, how nature is existing, how each and every living entity is reacting. A man who has many wives is constantly harassed by them. Listen it very carefully. A man who has many wives is constantly harassed by them, and he is responsible for their material maintenance. Material maintenance. The person who are having many wives, he is responsible for material maintenance, and that person will never make himself free from the cycle of the birth and death, and will never make himself from the material desire. And thus all the ladies constantly pull him in the different direction, each struggling for her self-interest. Because of self-interest, each and every wives of the particular person will surely pull that particular person for the different intention. And similarly, material sense harass the conditioned soul and pulling him in the many different directions at once. And on the one side, the tongue is pulling him to arrange a taste of food. Then the thirst dragged him to create a suitable drink. Simultaneously, the sex organ clamor for satisfaction, and the sense of the touch demands the soft and sensuous object. And belly harassed him until it is filled, and ear demand to hear pleasing sound, and the sense of smell hankers the pleasant aromas, and fickle eyes clamor for pleasing sights. And thus the sense organs and limbs, all desiring satisfaction, pull the living entity in many directions. Pull a living entity in many directions. The Supreme Personality Godhead, expanding his own potency, Maya Sakti, created innumerable species of the life to house the conditioned soul. Yet by creating the form of the trees, reptiles, animals, birds, snakes, and so on, the Lord was not satisfied with his heart, and then he created human life, and which offers the conditioned soul sufficient intelligence to perceive the absolute truth and become pleased. After many birth and death, one achieves the rare human forms of life. We don't have to commit suicide, because after many births and death, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary, afford one opportunity to attain the highest perfection, to attain the Supreme Personality Godhead Lord Krishna. Thus a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of the life as long as his body, and which is always subject to death and has not fallen down and died. After all, sense of gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for human being. Having learned from my spiritual master, I remain situated in the realization of the Supreme Personality Godhead, and fully renounced and enlightened by realized spiritual knowledge, and wander the earth without attachment or false ego. Although the absolute truth is a one without second, a sage have described him and him in a many different ways. Therefore, one may not be able to acquire very firm and complete knowledge from the one spiritual master. We all have to learn from the spiritual master. Spiritual master is required, by which we can learn how to make ourselves free from the life of material desire, free from the material attachment. The Supreme Personality God had said, having thus spoken to the king Yadu, a wise Brahmana accepted the obeisance and worship from the kings, and felt pleased himself, and the bidding farewell, and he left exactly as he had come. And O Uddhav, hearing the words of Avadhuta, the saintly king Yadu, who was the forefather of our own ancestor, and become free from all the material attachment, and thus his mind was even fixed on the spiritual platform. If we can fix our mind in a spiritual platform, then we can easily make ourselves free from all kind of material attachment. Two kind of peoples are very happy in this material things, in this material world, in this Maya. One is who is with a retired mind and childish foolish, and another one is who is on a spiritual path. That particular person, both kind of people will surely live a detached life, and detached from the all kind of material attachment. So if you are having any questions, any doubt, then please kindly put a comment. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.